First off, I'd like to thank these amazing people who decided to support me directly and make my work here on the platform so much easier. And remember, if you also want to help me out, the missile knows where the join button is at all times. Hello pilots, welcome back. How have your battles been? Mine have been going well. Today I'm flying the Sufa, which is honestly one of my favorite jets, so here are my first thoughts on it. To start off, it really is the best F-16 in the game. Of course, there's a big battle rating gap between the F-16, and maybe there's one that's more fun to play because of the bracket and all that, but when we're talking top tier, this one's the best. You get a ton of countermeasures, the jet does pretty well in a dogfight, the engine's a bit weaker than the Block 50, but you don't really feel it in flight, maybe at high altitude every now and then, but otherwise it flies just fine. That means we've got a solid airframe for defense. The radar's a bit better than the Block 50s, but even though it's better, the scan isn't always 100% reliable. As I go through the matches and you guys fly the Sufa yourselves, you'll see what I mean. Now, getting into its offensive side, this is where I start talking about the rough part of flying the Sufa. Not that the jet is bad, far from it, but with what's out there now, Rafales, Su-30s, Eurofighters, F-15Es, you're not gonna go head-to-head if those pilots know what they're doing. That's just the cold, hard truth. You're basically stuck just defending and waiting for the other guy to mess up. Because you're fast, but not as fast as them, you turn, but not as well as some of them, and all you can really do is defend. But even that's tough sometimes because of your missile. The 120C5 isn't a defensive missile, it's a BVR missile, but your jet isn't really built for that. You've got AIM-9Ms, but those aren't great for defense either. They're more for ambushes, and that makes the Sufa's situation in the game pretty frustrating. Snail basically released it dead on arrival. The broken timeline from Snail just killed this launch, and what should have been a fun jet just isn't. If you like OP or competitive jets, you're gonna hate this thing, and the people who do like it are gonna have to deal with these frustrations or just use it for CAS. But there's still gonna be folks like me who want to fly it to hunt other birds, and honestly, dealing with that is pretty simple. First, you gotta recognize the reality, especially these Sufa limitations I mentioned above, and how the missile setup doesn't really match the kind of mission the Sufa was made for. The missile count also isn't that great for a 16v16, so you really need to plan ahead and put in some extra effort to fly this thing and get good results. And that's exactly what I'm going to try to teach you now, so stick with me. Alright, for the first match, it's not a down tier, it's actually an up tier, but the good thing is the Rafales are on my team. Honestly, I don't even have words for how sad it is trying to fight a Rafale with this jet. But back to the match, I really don't want to waste this chance, and I want to do well, so I'm going to grab some defensive spots and push as hard as I can after BVR. I'm not going to skip out on positioning too much in this first match, because positioning in this jet is actually super important for it to work. With my radar, I can get a sense of where most players are, so I can move around based on that. Here I'm just going to keep locking onto targets, and sometimes I'll take a while to shoot because missing a missile in this jet really hurts, so I gotta be super careful with every shot. Those were good shots. The flank's starting to work out, which means I can push a bit further now. It's a bit risky for a jet like mine with these missiles to get this close to danger, but for the Sufa there's really no other option. You just gotta risk it. That's what I'm talking about. Not that the jet's attack power is great. Most of your kills happen like this, just defending as the last man standing. And sometimes your C5 and 9M just won't cut it because they don't handle bad launch angles very well, so that's something you really gotta watch out for. Here I tried to snag an extra frag on that Su-30 who was severely damaged, but it didn't work out. You can try this in your matches too, just make sure the guys actually got severe damage, so keep an eye out. Alright, cool. Let's go to the second match. Another up-tire, but this time I'm up against Rafael. I'm getting close to the start of the BVR phase in a pretty decent spot to defend myself, so I don't have to stress too much about early enemy shots. Not that I'm really focusing on BVR, but any guy I can pick off flying straight is fair game. Not to mention, even though our offensive power isn't that great, like I told you guys, if you want to eat, you're gonna have to take some risks. Alright, with this kill I got my meal, but it was kinda lucky. Who would have thought that guy would walk away from a head-on and I'd be able to pick him off? Let's see if I've got any luck left. Most of the enemies are right up ahead and they're paying attention to my spot, so whatever I manage to get here is honestly a miracle. In a perfect world where I've got 8 or 10 missiles, that was a good play. But right now, I'm stuck between 3 lions with 3 plates of wheat, and I've literally only got 1 IR missile left. Gotta commit on this, Rafael, and just pray I can take him out. This was the moment I knew I was screwed. Well, I tried. For the third match, it's the same map as last time, same plan and same positioning, but this time, thank God, it's a down tier. I swear if I get matched against Su-30 or Rafael one more time flying this thing, I'm gonna lose it. Still, it's not time to relax. Any decent 13.7 jet can wreck me in a straight 1v1 if I mess up too much, so gotta stay sharp. Yeah, guys, I'm really taking some big risks to get kills here. It's pretty much trading lunch for dinner at this point. Honestly, it's getting way too dangerous, so I just want to make one more attack and get out. I've already got a decent amount of kills considering what I've been through before. And as always, I'm being super picky about who I'm shooting at, because like I said, missing a missile with this jet hurts, and it hurts a lot. Look at what you gotta go through to get an ace with the Sufa. No matter how it is, no matter all the downsides, this is a jet where the hype is part of the deal. For the last match, here's my final take on the jet. It's a good F-16, really maneuverable, like I said at the start, and you saw during the gameplay. It's got really strong defense, so you can take more risks than when you're flying an F-15I, an Su-30, and all that. But the weapon loadout and missile count are honestly a huge letdown. If it maybe had some 120Bs, who knows? It might be more fun. As for IR missiles, 9M is what we've got right now. I also don't know if a Python 4 or 5 would save it, because when it finally gets those, just imagine what it'll be up against. The only real option I see that could save this thing is decompression, but that's nothing new. Whenever we ask what could make bad jets fun again, that's usually one of the answers. It's always decompression. But I don't know if Snail actually plans to make a good game for us. After all, they're making money selling a bad product, so why improve it? Anyway, that's my conclusion. And now here's the match where I basically do everything I taught earlier, with the bonus of it being almost completely commentary free for those who like to just watch. So stick with me till the end where I'll say goodbye to you guys. I ended up whiffing the last kill. My trigger finger was way too heavy during the match, and I let an ace slip right through my hands. On top of that, I got hit with the penalty of having such a tiny payload, but it is what it is. Alright folks, that's all for today. Hope you liked it. Do you agree or disagree with anything I said? Tell me down in the comments. Your feedback is super important to me. The video ends, but the chat stays. Karma out.